Good afternoon. I would like to warmly welcome the participants to the first part of the session dedicated to Call 2025 on Farm to Fork, fair, healthy and environmental-friendly food systems for primary production to consumption. I am Orsolya Frizon. I am the acting head of unit in Unit F2, DG Agri, Research and Innovation, and I will be the pleasure to be your moderator for the first part of the session until 3:30. Then we will have a break of 15 minutes, and the session will resume at 3:45 under the moderation of my colleague Rosalinda Scaglia, Deputy Head of Unit in B2, Bioeconomy and Food Systems in DG Research and Innovation. Please note that I would like to invite you, the participants from all over the EU and beyond, to ask questions during the presentations, and for that you can use Slido. You can simply scan the QR code in the slide here, or you can go to www.slido, insert the code of the Info Days, Cluster 6 Info Day, and to join the event, and there you need still to select the room. You need to select the room destination 2. I would also like you to label the questions with the topic number. For example, if you are interested in aspects related to the topic Horizon Cluster 6, 2025-02 Farm to Fork 03, overcoming the barriers for scaling up circular water management in agriculture, please put the number Farm to Fork 03, so the end of the topic. And then you can pose your question. I would like also to ask you to refrain from raising questions on evaluation procedure, as a dedicated session, Key to Success, has already took place this morning, where you could raise questions related to evaluation procedure. After the session, if your question has not been answered, please consider checking the available guidance and frequently asked questions on the EU Funding Research Tenders portal. If you don't find the answer, you can submit your question to the Research Inquiry Service. We will reply to you in writing in that case. And of course, you can also contact your national contact points with any questions you can have. During the first part of the session on Farm to Fork, fair, healthy and environmental-friendly food systems from primary production to consumptions, the speakers that are just sitting next to me will present 2025 topics under the heading on Enabling Sustainable Farming Systems. We have there single-stage topics and two-stage topics. Note also, please, that the 3 partnerships under this destination 2 will be covered in a dedicated session tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. And the second half of the session will be dedicated to the other 3 headings you have on the screen: enabling sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, transforming food systems for health, sustainability and inclusion, and targeted international cooperation. So that is the part that will take place after 4:30. And I would like to give you some policy context. I am sure that those that have already participated at the Info Days know very well our policy context, and that we used to recall the different policy initiatives that we have. So I would like to focus on the updates that we have since the previous years. We have adopted, and I hope you have heard about it, the Vision for Agriculture and Food this year in February. We have also adopted the Competitiveness Compass. All the other policy contexts that you have on the scheme, whether it is European Green Deal, Biodiversity Strategy, Common Agricultural Policy, Organic Action Plan, Common Fishery Policy, you already know this framework in which we work for years. And we also, of course, have our strategic approach for research and innovation, whether it is on agriculture or in food, calling Food 2030. And all this we are doing in the frame of the strategic plan 2025-2027. All course should ensure that we are ensuring healthy food and nutrition security by making agriculture, fisheries, aquaculture, and food systems sustainable, resilient, inclusive, and within planetary boundaries. Next slide, please. And I would like to give you some information about the content of the work program 2025. And first, I would like to concentrate on the single-stage goals. Before going into details, the most important things for you is the opening date of the call. I am sure you already know it. It has been opened the 15th May 2025. What is important is the closing date, 16 September 25. And that is the timing for the single stage call. Overall, Destination 2 has a budget of 239 million euros and comprise a total of 17 topics. We have 2 coordination and support actions, 8 research innovation actions, 4 innovation actions, and 3 co-funded partnerships. The second installment of partnership on agroecology, animal health and welfare, and food systems are part of Work Programme 25. With this budget, the Commission wishes to fund a total of 24 projects across the different headings. The budget will be divided according to the topics and needs of each heading. And you can see the highest budget is on enabling sustainable farming systems, followed by transforming food system for health, sustainability, and inclusion, and followed by enabling sustainable fishes and aquaculture, and the international cooperation is getting 14 million euros. And now let's go to the 2-stage calls. The opening date is 15th May 2025. The deadline for first stage is the 4th September 25, and deadline for the second stage is 18 February 2026. And now I would like to zoom in into the content of these 2-stage topics. We have a total of budget of 56 million euro for a total of 5 topics, 2 innovation actions, and 3 research innovation actions. With this budget, we are aiming to fund a total of 10 projects across the following headings. Still the same, the highest budget is on enabling sustainable farming systems with 24 million, followed by transforming food system for health, sustainability, and inclusion with 20 million, and targeted international communication get a budget of 12 million euros. And now, before giving the floor to my colleagues, I would like to clarify how we will proceed this afternoon. We will present topics in 3 blocks. After each block of topics presentation, we will open question and answers session in Slido, as mentioned earlier. We will take as many questions as possible, given the time. We will have 15 minutes after the presentation to take questions. However, if some questions will remain unanswered, as explained earlier, please send them to the Research Inquiry Service. We will reply in writing. During the session, please raise questions only related to the topics. General questions related to cluster Cs, as I said, evaluation, for example, have been addressed in other sessions of these info days. And now we are going to the content discussion, and I will invite one by one my colleagues to intervene dedicated to their topic. The first one will be Benjamin van Dorslaer, who will present the topic, Overcoming the Barriers for Scaling Up Circular Water Management in Agriculture. Ben, the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Orsolja. So I will guide you through the main aspects of this call. But first of all, we are talking here about an innovation action with a budget of 12 million euro, and we expect to fund 2 projects, so each 6 million euros. But first, let's take a step back and, why do we plan this project? Well, we see that the rollout of and also the acceptance of alternative water sources or circular water management in general are far from completed. There are still many hurdles to take, barriers to overcome, while at the same time we are facing situations of severe droughts, and these are expected to get worse in many regions of the EU. So circular water management could be one piece of the puzzle to solve this challenge of this, let's say, mismatch between supply and demand for water. But it's a complex story, and therefore we would like this project to tackle it from different angles. So first of all, from a technical angle, so looking at strategies, technologies that go beyond small experimental sites and that should reach at the end TRL of 6 to 7, but also covering monitoring of water quantity and quality. Secondly, an economic angle, looking at viable business models. Third, a more environmental angle, considering the longer-term impact on, for example, soil health. And last but not least, a socio-economic angle, looking at adoption of technologies by farmers, but also at consumer acceptance. So, and in this context, we ask as well the effective contribution of social sciences and humanities to better understand what's going on exactly. By bringing these angles together, we would like the results of this project to provide ways how to scale up the use of alternative water sources, to contribute to an increased confidence in its use from the producer side, but also from the consumer side, and more generally speaking, to improve the resilience of farming systems to water scarcity. So as you can see, a very interesting and at the same time challenging topic that brings together many different disciplines. More details on this topic you can find back in the call. So thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, please put them in Slido. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. And now let's go to the second topic. It will be presented by Paola Eulalio, and the topic is enhancing plant protein production to boost the resilience of agricultural systems and EU self-sufficiency in plant protein used as feed. Please, Paola, the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Ursula. So this topic really targets a critical vulnerability in the EU, which is our dependence on imported protein for feed. So, and this reliance exposes the agri-food sector to global market shocks, volatility of prices, and other sustainability challenges. So despite the recognition of this problem, of this issue, protein crops are still grown in very few hectares, only about 3% on the EU farmland. So we are far from meeting the needs of the sector. So this research and innovation action seeks to turn this vulnerability into an opportunity. By boosting the production and the use of the plant proteins in feed, we aim to strengthen the self-sufficiency of the EU, to reduce the environmental and the climatic footprint, and also to support a more resilient agricultural system. So also increasing the share of protein crops in farming systems, including nitrogen-fixing legumes. We don't only diversify farming systems, but we also deliver environmental benefits, such as improved soil health, fertility, biodiversity, etc. So aligned with the EU key policies, this action supports a system-wide transition towards sustainable biodiversity preservation and climate resilience. So concerning the outcomes, we expect that these projects will strengthen farmers' capacity to sustainable produce and to use protein crops for feed, while also enhancing the understanding of both farmers and advisors on how these crops can be effectively cultivated and integrated into animal diets. The action fosters innovation and knowledge sharing across the entire value chain, so including also, for instance, on preservation and transformation of protein crops into feed. And ultimately, the results should contribute to a more competitive EU protein crop sector. The scope includes to improve the knowledge on local production and use of protein crops for feed, and this across different EU regions, to identify which are the gaps, the needs, the barriers that are keeping us from taking up and from scaling up sustainable protein crops production for feed. And this along the whole value chain, as I said before, also draw up a strategic roadmap with the priorities for research, and identify, test, and showcase biodiversity-friendly management practices with the identified, with different protein crops for feed. Also assess which are the impacts and the trade-offs for a greater share of these protein crops. And in this case, it's important to prioritize the use of climate and pest-resilient protein crops, which can be adapted, as I said, to different EU pedoclimatic conditions. Last but not least, to generate capacity building material and training tools for farmers, advisors, and tailored to the different regions, to the different situations. Final considerations that are important is that the project must implement the multi-actor approach. The GRC can participate in the project. All farming approaches, include organic, are also in scope, and this project will be, 2 projects will be funded with this topic, with a total budget of 11 million euros. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula, and I will continue with Paula, who will present another topic, emerging and future risks to plant health. Please, Paula.
Thank you. So this other topic is about the fact that plant health is really at a critical crossroad. So climate change, global trade, biodiversity issues are reshaping the landscape of the pest threats across Europe, and this with potentially very shocking impacts on agriculture and forestry, and ultimately on food security. So this research and innovation action takes a forward-looking approach, addressing the new and the emerging plant pests with science-based and sustainable solutions. So it aims at combining advanced detection tools with agroecological practices, and also in a multidisciplinary collaboration to strengthen Europeans' capacity to anticipate, prevent, and respond to pest risks. So something important to say is that it's a really bottom-up topic. So applicants are quite free to select which emerging pest, or new or emerging pest, they want to deal with, one or more, be it regulated, not regulated, native, or introduced, as long as they really pose a significant problem, a significant social, economic, and environmental impact in the EU and associated countries. So this is, as I said, an open approach that allows researchers to focus on the most relevant and pressing threats within their specific contexts. Concerning the outcomes that we expect, the project aims to significantly enhance our understanding on the key drivers behind the emergence of plant pests, particularly in the context of climate change, globalization, and different ecosystems issues. So by identifying how these factors influence pest dynamics, we can better anticipate which are the future risks. And at the same time, the project will focus on developing innovative, cost-effective tools and methods for preventing and also for controlling the new and emerging pests. The solutions will align with the principles of integrated pest management, promoting sustainable practices that minimize environmental and economical impacts. And ultimately, the project will generate robust scientific evidence to inform and to strengthen European plant health policies, ensuring that they are well equipped to meet the challenges of tomorrow. So within the scope, what we aim to is to improve the understanding of pest biology, of which are the entry pathways, the spread mechanisms, especially under climate change and land use change. Also develop early detection methods, surveillance, treatments, and biocontrol methods aligned with integrated pest management, to assess the social, economical, and environmental impacts of the pest outbreaks and propose mitigation strategies, explore resistant traits and agroecological practices to enhance long-term resilience, and apply the One Health approach for a holistic pest management. In terms of additional considerations to keep in mind, again, this is a multi-actor approach project, proposal must involve a broad range of stakeholders, of course, to work on the project, and they may allocate up to 10% of the budget to financial support to third parties, and this mainly for testing and demonstrating activities. The results should benefit diverse farming systems approaches, including conventional but also organic. And another point is that this is a two-stage topic, and the EU contribution is 12 million in total for 2 projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paola. And now we are getting to the first session of Slido. And there we can all see the questions that has been raised. The first I see on the screen is related to topic 03. Does your interest, to Ben, does your interest lie in the innovation and deployment of new nature-based solutions or in maximizing the value of already implemented systems? Ben, please.
The question is quite easy, both. So we have, let's say, a part of the call which is more related to development, innovation, testing of available technologies or strategies. Nature-based solutions can be part of that, but not only. But we are also looking at what the issues or problems of in the adoption process, for example, of implemented systems that are already in place, and see how this can be solved to scale up the implementation of circular management practices. So there's no specific emphasis or one of both, but both are in the scope of this proposal. So both aspects, testing innovation, but also looking at what is already in place, is part of it.
Thank you very much, Ben. There is no other questions. We can still wait 1 minute to see whether there are other questions coming. I see now on topic 4. So that is a question for Paola. How many animal models would ideally be expected?
So animal models, so the question is not very clear, but yeah, the topic is not specific on that. It depends on the applicant proposals and their justification as far as they meet the requirements of the topic. So there is really not a defined number of animal models. And I guess this comes because we are talking about diverse farming systems. The topic text, it says including farming and livestock, but it's really, have to note that this is really with agriculture production. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula. Maybe another question on the topic. What are the expectations regarding regional coverage and diversity? Should proposal demonstrate activities across multiple EU pedoclimatic zones?
Yes, thank you. Yes, of course. So this is the idea. Proposals should really reflect the regional diversity across the EU, consider the differences in the adoption of the different solutions, depending on the place and the bottlenecks. And it's only by addressing different pedoclimatic zones how we strengthen the relevance, the scalability, and the impact of the results of the project. So yes.
Thank you very much, Paula. Another question, still for your topic. What level of TRL or practical implementation is expected for solutions across the protein value chain, early stage or near market innovations?
Thank you. So indeed, as this is a RIA, we know that TRLs are typically spanning between 1 and 5. But again, this is not prescriptive in the topic. So insofar the proposal justifies their methods, their activities that they are developing, they can go from early stage research to more close to the market, but they should always aim to deliver really practical, field-relevant solutions. That's what I want to say. And then also important, a clear pathway towards real-world applications. I think it's essential.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions related to the third topic, or there is no? We have, so maybe we can turn to the third topic if it has more questions. So then on the topic related to the emerging and future risks to pollen health, we have a question whether it includes pests which are not as such new in Europe. I repeat it because I did not have my micro on. So now let's turn to the third topic, questions related to the third topic. So related to the topic emerging and future risks to pollen health. The question is whether emergence risks include pests which are not as such new in Europe, but re-emerging due to new regulations on the use of pesticides. Please, Paula.
Thank you for the question. Indeed, yes, emerging risks can include pests that are not new to Europe, but that are re-emerging, for instance, due to some changing conditions that affect their impact or their spread. So that there is a shift, let's say, in the management practice and also in the dynamics with climate ecosystem. So if these factors really lead to an increased threat or challenges to control it, then they fall within the scope of this topic. Yes.
Thank you very much, Paula. Another question in this topic, which European research infrastructures in particular should be involved and how?
Okay, so for this question, applicants really are encouraged to consider the different services offered by the European research infrastructures and laboratories that are accredited. But this is not an obligatory point. So it's when relevant, they could profit of these services. I'm sorry, from the research infrastructures. And there is I was checking in the topic text. There is a website, a link that is offered as a catalog of European Strategy Forum on research infrastructures, in case useful.
And maybe a last question on the same topic, environment observation, understanding drivers. Is it required to be fully achieved within the project, or may it be reached afterwards based on results?
So as usual, the expected, so the results have to be achieved within the project, of course, but then the expected outcomes are a consequence of these results, which then will be created into the impact of the project. So I think this is more a general question, right? But that would be my short answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We still have some minutes for some additional questions, so maybe we can come back to the previous topics. On the topic, I try to take those that are, yeah. Okay, we can take this one. So that is related to topic 04, enhancing plant protein production. So it's also for Paula. The question is whether industrial hemp be considered as protein plant.
Okay, so yes, it's not the main one. So the project focuses on high protein crops used for animal feed. We have a very simple definition of protein crops that applies to this topic. That refers to crops that have a high content of proteins and which can be used for feed. So hemp may be considered only if really its role as feed protein is clearly justified in the topic against other sources, maybe. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. And it seems there is no additional questions, or yes, that we have done, that in fact there is a question related to topic 303. No, that we haven't that yet. No. I think, well, let's take the one that I see now on the top of my screen, which is 03, related to the topic for Ben. Scale up on what size? Go beyond one application and apply to a full area?
I'm not sure if I fully grasped the question, because you're talking about one application. With upscaling, at least in the text, we are talking about going further than just the experimental fields, and then in practice as well to see the circular water management going further than just, let's say, a few farmers that are participating to something, but that we go for bigger areas or regions. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Ben. And the last question I see for the topic on emerging future risks to plant health. How are emerging pests? No. Yes. How are emerging pests defined, and does this include both insects and microorganisms?
Thank you for the question. Indeed, the topic defines, has a simple definition of pests, and is quite broad, and it covers from plants to insects, pathogenic agents, everything. So indeed, yes, microorganisms are also, and insects are also included.
Thank you very much, very clear. And before closing, another question, no, disappeared. No? Yes, okay. So let's say that we don't have any other questions, and we close the Slido. Anyhow, in case you would have additional questions, you know that you can raise your question to the inquiry system. And now let's go to the second block of topics. And I have an easy job because I need to give the floor once again to Paula, who will present us developing innovative phytosanitary measures for plant health, focus on systems approach for pest risk management. Please, Paula, the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
Thank you. So this research and innovation action invites applicants to develop innovative, sustainable solutions to protect plant health through a system approach to pest risk management. So as global pressures from climate change to trade to biodiversity loss are increasing, we need a pest management strategy that are not only cost-effective, but also scalable and environmentally sound. And so this is an opportunity to build collaborative real-world solutions that can support both phytosanitary goals, but also broader agricultural and ecological resilience. The total budget is 12 million euros, and the kind of impacts we are looking for in this, for this topic is to deliver tested, cost-effective pest management measures, to empower farmers and value chain actors to manage pest risks more sustainably, to provide scientific advice and policy input, enhancing EU and international plant health efforts. And how will projects do this? Well, the scope of the project asks for applicants to design and test innovative pest management measures using a system approach, which means that they have to combine at least 2 different and independent actions across the value chain. So these combined actions aim to meet phytosanitary import requirements and to ensure effective, scalable, and environmentally sound pest risk management. Activities will include evaluating the effectiveness, the cost, the scalability, and the sustainability of the individual measures, developing and validating implementation protocols, assessing how measures interact and perform together, support also training and capacity building for a large-scale adoption. And then a few important requirements to keep in mind is about the fact that the pest selection must be clearly justified. So applicants should explain their choice of pests in line with, of course, the objectives of the proposal and the expected outcomes of the topic. And projects must apply the multi-actor approach to engage several stakeholders, in this case from researchers to farmers to plant health services, advisors, and any other relevant actor across the value chain that would be needed to this project. An effective contribution from the social sciences and humanities is expected. International cooperation is also encouraged. And in terms of finances, up to 10% of the funding of this topic may be used for financial support to third parties. And this is to involve local pilots, testing, innovation tools, to have SMEs in the project. And again, results should benefit different farming systems, and this includes both organic and conventional. And the Joint Research Center can also participate in the consortium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paola. And the next is will be presented by Valeria Badessa, and it is dedicated to improving grassland management in European livestock farming systems. Valeria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ursula, and hello, everyone. Let's address now this topic, the focus on enhancing the sustainability of the grassland within the European livestock system. The scope of this topic is quite broad and ambitious because we are looking for innovative proposals that can develop new methodologies and also strategy to manage grassland sustainably. This is not just about maintaining productivity, it's about enhancing the sustainability and also the multifunctionality of this type of landscape. We aim to tackle challenges like climate change adaptation and mitigation, intensified farming and biodiversity preservation through different strategic management. This effort includes both permanent and also temporary grassland systems in diverse pedoclimatic regions and also in various farming systems, including organic. And we must also recognize and navigate the trade-offs that are involved. Through these efforts, we aim to enhance data availability, increase the use of sustainable practices, reinforce networks, and support also policy recommendations. Technology and collaboration are at the heart of the topic. We are particularly interested in proposals that exploit technological advancement to improve data management and decision-making process. This might involve developing tools that provide farmers with practicable action tailored to their needs, to their specific needs, and additionally building strong networks for collaboration among farmers, researchers, policymakers, etc. Beyond environmental benefits, this topic also considers the economic sustainability. So we seek approach that not only protect and enhance our resources, our natural resources, but also provide economic motivation or incentive for stakeholders. And this ensures that sustainable practices are attractive, let's say, and feasible from a business perspective, and help to bridge the gap between environmental and economic objectives. So proposals are expected to deliver scientific support and recommendation to reinforce the European policy. In summary, the topic is an opportunity, let's say, to provide solutions that will significantly impact sustainable agriculture. By focusing on the scope that you can see in the slide, project will contribute to a strategic approach for resilient grassland management in livestock farming. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Valerio. And the next one is also for you. It is dedicated to fostering animal breeding and genetics for climate change adaptation and mitigation, improve robustness and resilience. Please, Valerio.
Thank you again. So we focus now on another opportunity that addresses an important component of agriculture, the breeding and genetics of livestock for climate change adaptation and mitigation. Due to the growing environmental challenges, this topic is shaping, let's say, aim to shape the future of livestock farming towards sustainability through breeding, advanced breeding and genetics. We are targeting the interconnection between genotype, management strategies, and environmental factors to have livestock that can prosper, let's say, in diverse environments and also withstand challenges such as climate change or health hazard or other, feed availability also. The core of the activity of this topic lies in identifying new traits, focusing on those that can reduce emission while enhancing animal robustness. This means developing tools, system, methodology for effective breeding programs that can be implemented at TRL technology readiness level 7. Our aim is to push this innovation towards viable application at farm level across different diverse environments and production systems, establishing also a robust framework for measuring and selecting this trait. Additional, also in this case, our approach embrace the multi-actor approach, the multi-actor methodology. And this is a collaborative effort involving farmers, breeders, researchers, and industry also. Each stakeholder plays a crucial role in validating and scaling up the protocols for diverse farming setting. And by having everyone in the table, we ensure that solutions are realistic and comprehensive and also accepted. Moreover, the proposal must address the trade-off intrinsic in the breeding practices, especially between productivity and environmental objectives. So we encourage to balance these factors, ensuring animal health and welfare are not compromised while advancing towards a climate-neutral farming system. The economic feasibility is also important here. Beyond the technical validation, proposals are expected to carry out a comprehensive cost-effectiveness analysis, formulating incentive schemes that promote the adoption of these practices. And by identifying a successful scheme, we aim to provide a sort of blueprint that can be adapted across Europe, stimulating other policies and practices in the livestock sector. So we are looking for progress that balance the reducing the methane emission and other environmental impacts with maintaining animal health and welfare. So by improving, enhancing these animal breeding programs, we seek to have or to set new standards for the livestock farming that have a positive impact on both agriculture and also environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerio. So now we have finished the second block, and the floor is yours with questions that you can raise in Slido. So we take the first one. It is related to the topic 05, developing innovative phytosanitary measures for plant health. Forestry is mentioned, but main focus is on agriculture, I assume. Are forest pest projects out of scope? How relevant is forest susceptibility to bark beetle for the topic? Please, Paula.
Thank you for the question. So forestry and forest pests are not explicitly excluded, but the topic clearly focuses on agriculture, so on the agri-food value chain. So I would say for final confirmation, I advise you to send this question through the Research Inquiry Service, and we will have a better reflection for a more complete answer.
Thank you, Paula. Another question related to the same topic. Can proposal focus on a single pest, or do we need to address multiple pests?
Thank you. Yes, this is, yes, you can focus, of course, on a single pest, provided that you offer a clear explanation and a justification for the selection of that pest. So, of course, the pest has to be relevant to the proposal's objectives, aligned to the topic text and expected outcomes, and in particular on the terms of phytosanitary risks and the cross-border impact. So I think there we have seen again that we have a definition of pests in the topic text, so which is quite broad, quite general, and can give some guidance.
Thank you, Paula. And maybe then the last one on the same topic. Is the selection of target pests limited to quarantine pests, or can we propose non-quarantine pests with significant economic impact?
Yes, so applicants have to justify the reason why they select one pest or the other, being quarantine or non-quarantine. So yes, as far as it's justified, it's in scope.
Thank you very much. So we have a question related to topic 06 for Valerio. Can the GRC actively participate in the drafting of the proposal, or can it be included at a later stage?
No, the answer is quite simple. GRC cannot participate in drafting the proposal. The GRC gave its availability to be part of the consortium once the project will be funded. Solo after the evaluation process, the GRC and the consortium selected for funding come into an agreement on the specific term of participation, and the GRC will participate with zero funding. So we will be part of the consortium as a member, but with its own budget. So no possibility to participate in the drafting of the proposal.
Thank you, Valerio. Very clear. And another question on the same topic: are the humanities part of the call?
In the topic on grassland, yes, social science and humanity. Sorry. In this topic on grassland, yes, social science and humanity must be considered as a scientific discipline, because we are talking about multi-actor approach, and we are addressing not only the farm per se, but the land, the rural area. So social science and humanity will be part of the call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerio. And now let's take a question on topic 7. Demonstrating gender-responsive strategies is about human gender or animals with different male-female properties in certain species systems?
It's both, let's say. It refers to animals, also to human gender. When we talk about human gender, because as you see, international cooperation is encouraged, and in many developing countries, women are really those who are taking care of the animals. So in this case, also the human gender is important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. An additional question on the same topic: are aquaculture species, breeding, and genetics included in the scope of the topic 7?
Also here the answer is easy. Unfortunately not, for several reasons, because of the topic as a specific objective, but mainly also because we already have two topics, one in the Work Program 24 and another one in this Work Program 25, dealing with breeding program in aquaculture. So we are not going to duplicate, let's say, or similar topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerio. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can take it. No problem, of course. So on topic 6, what are the recommended TRL and SRL for developed solutions, Valerio?
There are no recommended TRL, so it's quite open. It's up to the applicants to decide until which level they want to, which level they want to achieve.
Thank you very much. And we have another question on topic 7. Can we submit under genomics other areas of omics?
Yeah, you can submit other omics because we talk in the text. It is written omic and meta-omic, so you can include not only the typical, the classic omics, transcriptomics, proteomics, etc., but you can include also meta-transcriptomics, meta-proteomics, and so on. So it's open to, it's not limited to genomics.
Thank you very much. We don't have any other questions, so now we can go to the third block of topics. And the first on my list is for Patricia Lopez, who will present the open topic Innovating for an On-Farm Post-Harvest Operation, Storage and Transformation of Crops into Food and Non-Food Products. Please, Patricia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to introduce the challenge to be addressed by the proposals. Farmers do not always profit from the added value of their agricultural produce, which may limit greater financial returns. And at the same time, farmers need to respond to changing consumer demands as well as support climate change mitigation efforts. To respond to these challenges, this innovation action aims to increase the availability of innovative solutions that allow to shorten supply chains, adding value and extending the shelf life of harvested crops at farm level, can help to leverage farmers' position in the value chain and improve financial viabilities. The proposals are also intended to foster SME-led businesses models and increase the opportunities for farmers engaging in food and non-food agricultural output processing and storage. And so, successful proposals are expected to deliver on 3 key outcomes. First, farmers employ a wide range of innovative solutions to improve post-harvest handling, processing, and storage of crops that contribute to environment and climate objectives. Second, farmers improve their position in the value chain and add value to their food and non-food products at farm level and thereby enhance their competitiveness. And third, farmers and SMEs benefit from new business models and increase their opportunities to engage in sustainable food and non-food value chains. To achieve these outcomes, proposals should test, develop, and pilot innovative solutions, improving farmer position and financial viability in value chains, and leveraging the use of agricultural produce, increase farmers' options to benefit from on-farm transformation and/or storage of agricultural outputs for food and/or non-food purposes, foster new SME-led sustainable business models, and improve climate and environmental performance of the resulting activities and businesses. This open topic has a total budget of 12 million euros and 2 proposals are expected to be funded. Proposals should deliver a TRL between 6 and 7 and include all farming systems, including organic. This is a multi-actor topic where SME participation is expected and applicants can use financial support to third parties. In short, this is an opportunity to deliver solutions for farmers to increase their competitiveness and produce added value.
Thank you very much, Patricia. The next on my list is the topic Exploring the Potential of Controlled Environment Agriculture, and it will be presented by Isabel van Borne.
Thank you, Orsolia. So, exploring the potential of controlled environment agriculture, CEA, as a transformative contribution to global food security and sustainability challenges, will enable farmers and actors in the sectors to manage sustainable farming system, contributing to climate resilience, while also making farming a professionally attractive and remunerative life choice. Controlled environment agriculture refers to any form of agriculture that controls and optimizes environmental conditions such as temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, light or nutrient concentration, etc. Example of CAA includes greenhouses, vertical farms, grow rooms, building integrated agriculture, hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics, and other practices where technological advancements enables precise regulation of growing condition farming. It's not an exhaustive list, of course. You can focus on one or address more or come with others. Expected outcomes are for a holistic understanding of CAA, comprising technological needs, trades-off, sustainability, societal and environmental impacts, and policy implication. An advanced knowledge of CAA sustainability in its three dimensions: economic, environmental, and social. So comprising profitability, resource efficiency, greenhouse gas emissions, circularity, but also equity, labor conditions, etc. As the diversity of crops available through CAA remains limited at this stage, there is a need for new crops and new varieties with potential in CAA to be identified and next generation of CAA systems to be explored. Also, adoption, expansion, and uptake of CAA best practices needs to be boosted. About the scope, proposals should assess the state-of-the-art technologies and innovations in CAA, evaluating their effectiveness, assessing resource efficiency, energy and water demands, and identify opportunities for optimization through technological innovations and management practices. Also analyze the socio-economic feasibility and viability of implementing CAA systems at different scales and evaluating the cost effectiveness compared to conventional agriculture. Also investigate the environmental sustainability and environmental footprint of the CAA systems developed. Assess the current state of crop varieties grown in CAA systems, identifying gaps, opportunities, and challenges for the development and adoption of novel or diverse crop varieties in CAA. Also provide insights into the future trajectory of CAA, emerging traits, technological innovations, IoT, AI, robotics, biotechnologies, and more, and implication towards the farming profession thereof. Identifying key challenges hindering CAA adoption and provide strategies for enhancing the expansion of best practices in CAA. Also, the involvement of CAA is essential for this topic, and proposals may involve cascade funding support to third parties, for example, for CAA that would be providing, developing, or testing the proposed innovation solution. Of course, proposals should capitalize on relevant research funding and tools, including those developed under previous research projects. It's an RAA with an indicative budget of 6 million euros, so possibly one project will be selected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabel. And the last in this block will be presented by Patricia Lopez, and it is dedicated to strengthening the EU crop breeding research and innovation ecosystem for competitive, resilient, and sustainable agriculture.
Thank you very much again. The European crop production is under growing pressure from climate change to soil degradation and biodiversity loss. Meeting these challenges requires innovative, resilient, and sustainable plant breeding solutions. Future-oriented breeding programs that support ecological approaches, including organic farming, are key to ensuring long-term food security. To succeed, breeding actors, especially SMEs, need access to advanced technologies, skilled talents, and streamlined market pathways. Better coordination across public and private sector is essential to strengthening the competitiveness of EU agriculture. A more connected ecosystem can help align efforts, close research gaps, and accelerate innovation. To respond to these challenges, this coordination and support action aims to strengthen and connect the EU crop breeding research and innovation landscape. The goal is to improve coordination, promote collaboration, and ultimately help agriculture across the EU become more competitive, more resilient, and more sustainable. And so, successful proposals are expected to deliver on 4 key outcomes. First, on an improved understanding and alignment of funding at national, regional, and EU levels and sectors. Second, a co-creative environment where stakeholders can jointly identify gaps, needs, and priorities for future research and infrastructure. Third, a stronger cooperation between public and private breeding actors with a focus on emerging technologies and shared challenges. And fourth, facilitated market access for improved crop varieties so that innovation reaches the farmer faster and more effectively. To achieve these outcomes, applicants are expected to first map breeding needs across stakeholders and current EU activities, assess existing infrastructure and identifying gaps, analyze funding models at all levels, promote participatory breeding approaches that involve end users, especially farmers, build an EU-wide collaborative network, and finally, develop a strategic roadmap for plant breeding, research, and innovation. This topic has a total budget of 3 million, and one proposal is expected to be funded. Proposals should be inclusive, covering different types of crops, including minor, underutilized, and permanent crops, and all farming systems, including organic. In short, this is an opportunity to lay the foundation for a more connected, responsive, and forward-thinking plant breeding system, one that serves farmers, researchers, and a society as a whole.
Thank you very much, Patricia. It was very different 3 topics. I'm looking forward to the question that we can get. The floor is open for your questions on Slido. And the first questions are coming in. The first is related to the topic on innovating for on-farm post-harvest operations. So a question for Patricia. Can SMEs, small farms, and companies be partners in the consortium?
Yes, their participation is encouraged, either as consortium partner or as relevant stakeholders to be included in the project's activities. So yes, certainly.
Thank you very much. Another question. Could you clarify the meaning of on-farm? Are processing hub in rural areas or cooperatives in scope, or it is limited to the single farm demo?
Thank you. This is an open topic, so we are not limiting what type of technologies or where they need to be applied. Certainly, the application should benefit farmers' activities and businesses. But it depends on the participants, the applicant's proposal to define this term. Is not specified in the topic. Thank you.
Yes, in fact, that is the beauty of an open topic. You have more freedom to develop it. Let's go to the next, to the question related to the next topic, topic 08. Questions for Isabel. The first is, do crop varieties refer to crop types, lettuce, berry, or to varieties of a crop, El Santa?
Okay, so it refers to the current CRA crops offers. The diversity of crops available through CRA is rather limited at this stage, so there's a need for novel and diverse crop varieties with potential in CA to be identified. So the reply is both new crop and new varieties. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabel. The next is also for you. Is the involvement of SMEs required for testing and validating innovative technologies, or can SMEs also participate with another role?
It was more just an example of what currently, we generally see as SMEs joining because they are, especially in this context, they will be coming with developing, testing, and validating some technologies. But no, they can come in with other roles. It was just an example.
Another question is related to the financing. For SMEs involvement, a maximum of 30% of EU funding is specified. Is it related to third-party financing or only to third-party financing and SMEs budget in the project?
There are no SMEs budget target or requirements. So FSTP is not for SMEs. It's helping SMEs involvement, but no. So there's no target budget for SMEs, and it does not relate to SMEs budget.
Thank you, Isabel. Another question on related to fermentation. Would fermentation cell culture to produce biomass, mycelium single cell protein precision fermentation, also be considered as controlled environmental agriculture?
I see that there are other questions also about insects, about whether this can be considered CAR. I would say you make your choice, you decide, and you justify, and we will see. So whatever is, of course, controlled environment agriculture, any form of agriculture that controls and optimizes environmental conditions, of course, can be considered CAA. What it grows, ultimately, you decide, you choose, and you justify.
Another question on the same topic related to TRL. What TRL should we start with and what finish with?
So it's in a area, so there are no specific targets to be achieved. Normally between 1 and 5, you choose.
There is an additional question. Yes, so are there precedent research innovation projects in the topic of CAA, or it is one of the first ones? Maybe I would say that is something that you would need to dig in when presenting a proposal. I don't know if Isabel would like to react.
Not really, you know. So we moved from urban agriculture to controlled environment agriculture. So it's part of, one is part of the other, and vice versa. So there's been, of course, previous projects, maybe not that much targeted on CAA. So that's all I can say.
I see there is a high interest on the topic. In fact, it is as I remember, we haven't programmed something like that dedicated to control environment agriculture so far. So I understand the interest that it raised, and we will try to reply. But as you can see, it is something in development. So we are also very excited to see what kind of proposal you will submit. We will take another one, and after we can move to the next topic. So a last one on this topic. And if we have time, we can come back for the additional one. So does insect farming and other alternative protein production, fungi, algae, qualify as controlled environmental agriculture?
So again, you decide, you justify, and whether there would be indeed a lot of control and optimizing of the environmental conditions, it would qualify as CA. Yeah, we said crop. Yeah, it's mentioned cropped, but okay, ultimately. You make a proposal. You want to say, Rea would like to add.
So I understand from the colleagues that we do not have questions related to the last topic. So we can, and I understand there is a high interest on the second one, on the control environment agriculture. So we will do our best to reply, and if not, we'll reply in written. So the next one is the requirement for scale-up of control environment agricultures involved in the project.
No targeted scaling up. Depends of course of the system, of what you're developing. So you come up with a proposal, justification, and we will evaluate.
So I understand there is no requirement related to the scale of the control environment agriculture. Another question is an interesting one also. How should data sensitivity be dealt with the assessment need to be done?
I'm not sure how much it relates to the topic. It's not that specific. Wouldn't say we'll take time to try to provide for some more formal answer. Yeah, this one, we can say that this 30% budget applies to FSTP, and if one of the partner is an SME, they are a beneficiary, they are a consortium member, so it doesn't apply to them, this pro rata.
Yes, a question for Patricia. Does the topic cover also insects post-harvest?
Thank you. So the scope for this topic is transformation of crops into food and non-food products. So no, it's not for insect farming.
Thank you, Patricia. Now we have a question on 09. The first one, I think. Are there projects carried out with commercial breeding companies? Is there a requirement to be a research organization for project applications?
There is no, I think the scope also aims at having commercial participants or involved in the activities of the project. I don't think there's a requirement to be a research organization in the topic text. If maybe to make sure I'd provide a correct answer, we provide a correct answer from this service, we would encourage you to send a written question to the Research Inquiry Service to specify the answer. Thank you.
I do not see any other questions. We can still wait a minute because we have time. If it's not the case, then so I think we do not have any additional questions, and it is my last task is to thank all the speakers for their presentations and for the answers provided. And big thank for the audience for active participation and for the questions that has been raised. What I have said at the beginning, now we will have 15 minutes break. 30. Now 30 because we are in advance. So we will resume the meeting at 3:45. And just to remember, just to recall, as we said already in the presentation, we are not discussing the partnerships related topics here because we will have a dedicated session on partnerships tomorrow afternoon. And that would be all from my side. Thank you very much, my colleagues. Thank you very much from colleagues from the executive agency. And I give you in a very nice hands of Linda for the next session. Goodbye. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. I would like to warmly welcome the participants to this second part of the session dedicated to the 2025 call on fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems from primary production to consumption. My name is Linda Scalia, and I'm Deputy Head of Unit in B2 in DG RTD, Research and Innovation, Bioeconomy and Food Systems. And I will be your moderator today for the rest of this session. As it was done for the first part of our session, I would like to invite you, participants from all over the EU and beyond, to ask questions during this presentation using Slido. So you can simply go to Slido or scan the QR code that appears on the screen, insert hash CL6 InfoDay to join the event, and then select the room on the destination to. fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems from primary production to consumption. I would like to request you to label the questions with topic number. This will really facilitate us. For example, if you are interested in aspects related to the topic, I'm just making an example, Horizon CL6 to 2025-02 Farm to Fork number 10, diversifying aquaculture production with emphasis on low trophic species, please put the number Farm to Fork 10 and then pose your question so that we can easily identify it. Please refrain from raising questions on evaluation procedure because, as you know, a dedicated question, very successful question this morning took place on key to success. So that is your session of reference. And I would remind you that if your question has not been answered, please redirect it to the Research Enquiry Service, and we will reply to you in writing. You can also check the frequently asked question and eventually contact your national contact points. They are present in each member state. So the second half of the session, fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems from primary production to consumption, will be dedicated to 3 headings, to the remaining headings that were not taken before our session. The first one is enabling sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. The second one is transforming food systems for health, sustainability, and inclusion. And the third one is targeted international cooperation. After the presentation of all the topics under each heading, we will open the question and answer session in Slido, and we will take as many questions as possible, given the time. During the session, we will favor questions related to the topics and general questions related to Cluster 6, to evaluation, as I said before, were already taken into account for the Key to Success session this morning. So let's be targeted on specific questions for these specific topics. So we will save time and we will help you better. Now, let's go to enabling sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, this heading. I would like to introduce you our colleague Nikos Zampoukas, who works in unit RTD-B4, Oceans, Seas and Waters, and who will present you 2 topics. Horizon Farm to Fork number 10, diversifying aquaculture production with emphasis on low trophic species. And the following topic will be towards number 11, towards modern, integrated and effective fisheries monitoring, control and surveillance systems. So Nikos, the floor is yours. You have 6 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda. I will start from the topic on diversifying aquaculture production with emphasis on low trophic species. It's an innovation action and we budgeted 12 million and we foresee 2 grants to be selected. It's a 1-stage topic and we expect that projects finally will reach a technological readiness level around 6 to 8. We have for this topic the policy frame are the EU strategic guidelines for sustainable and competitive aquaculture. We have an algae initiative. We have the Food 2030 Research and Innovation Policy Framework and other frameworks. And from the selected project, we expect that they will increase the variety of edible aquatic species and they will provide more information to consumers to enhance their literacy in relation to nutritional and environmental benefits, that they will provide the aquaculture sector with new technologies, better technologies, to make it more competitive and more profitable and to reduce its environmental impact. And we expect that they will trigger economic growth and creation of jobs in coastal and rural areas. So the scope of this topic practically includes all possible edible aquatic organisms, but as in the title, there is a preference for low trophic species, and in this topic, we define low trophic species as photosynthetic or at least herbivorous or unfed species that can be farmed without additional feed. But we also include fish farming, finfish, but there is an emphasis on fish that rely on ingredients, on feed ingredients that are low in fish meal and fish oil, and even better if the ingredients, the feeds, are produced locally in the region of the farm or in neighboring regions, and even better if these ingredients come from circular practices, like using waste or byproducts. And it's a quite open topic, so research could include feeding, breeding, but also economic issues, consumer acceptance issues, of course, aspects of sustainability, circularity, and zero waste, but also aspects of pricing and also regional particularities. Also inside the scope are regulatory aspects and legal barriers that, particularly for rather new aquatic food, are particularly important for licensing also for aquaculture farms. And it's a topic that is particularly relevant for international cooperation and that can profit a lot from science, from social science and humanities, and also citizen science. And we see possibilities for collaboration with research infrastructures, particularly the ones that are funded by Horizon also. So let's go to the next topic. That is about modern, integrated, and effective fisheries monitoring, control, and surveillance systems. Again, an innovation action of 12 million for 2 grants, again 1 stage, and the final TRL around 6 to 8. We have a newly revised control regulation for fisheries. We have a data collection framework and several other policies, a whole common fisheries policy, but also environmental policies. And in this frame, from the selected projects, we expect that they will improve data collection and reduce the cost of this process and provide better analysis, that they will advance fisheries monitoring, surveillance, control, and hopefully enforcement with new technologies to fight illegal, unreported, and unregulated practices, and ideally that they will provide real-time tools for monitoring of fishing operations, for example, to compare and match logbooks and landing declaration data with data coming from observers on board, and also that they will contribute to standardized data collection that will hopefully result in better scientific advice. And in order to achieve this, we ask the projects to widen data collection and particularly include small-scale fisheries, recreational fisheries, and long-distance fisheries, meaning fisheries outside EU waters, and that for these particular fisheries, they will develop tailored solutions, and we want them to develop technology for automatic real-time data collection and vessel tracking technologies, and we see particular potential in artificial intelligence for mining information and data deriving from various monitoring technologies. And we want at least 4 case studies. One on EU small-scale fisheries in the European seas, one on EU small-scale fisheries, but now in EU outermost regions, a case study on recreational fisheries in EU waters, and also a case study on EU long-distance fisheries in the Indian Ocean or the Pacific Ocean. But if the projects think that there is interest in other case studies, additional from these 4, they are free to include them. We see relevance for the JRC in this topic. JRC is holding data for fisheries. We want a project that will include fishers and other actors and users, stakeholders, from the very beginning until the end to uptake the results. We want projects who will work on fair data, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, and projects that will feed to the EMODnet and also to the European Digital Twin Ocean. And for this topic, the proposers should consider the work of the SCARFIS, the Strategic Working Group on Fisheries and Aquaculture, that has published a report on fisheries-dependent data as a tool for real-time advice. Finally, the report was published in 2025, while in the topic it's mentioned as 2024, so keep in mind this. There is a link both in the topic and the presentation that brings you to the SCARFIS document. So these are, from my side, the presentation of the two topics. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nikos. You respected your time frame, and now we have time. We can open the question and answer session. So to see whether there are dedicated questions for your topic. So let me see. Are all the case studies to be covered by one proposal? Could the proposal focus only on one or two of them?
Yes, ideally, we're looking for a project that will cover all, at least the 4 studies mentioned. If they cover less than 4, then they're still inside the scope, but probably other proposals who have all the 4 required case studies might be given higher preference. So.
And thank you, Nikos. Let me read you the second question for your topics. On topic number 11, is the topic targeting integrated fisheries monitoring centers like solutions or fisheries information system?
I would say that this topic supports both integrated fisheries monitoring centers like solutions and also fisheries information centers. And the emphasis is in interoperability and in effectiveness, cost effectiveness, and on application of artificial intelligence. And the goal is a modern, integrated system of monitoring, control, and surveillance that is fit to support the implementation of the control regulation. So it's relevant for both things included in this question.
Thank you very much, Nikos. Another question for your topic, topic number 11, how can JRC help with the works associated to this topic?
Yes, as I mentioned.
Microphone.
Yes, sorry. As I mentioned, JRC is storing data on fisheries, on catches, and socioeconomic data. It has the Secretariat for the Scientific, Technical, and Economic Committee for Fisheries. So it's mainly about data, but also any other capacity, any other input that the JRC could provide, but mainly data. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikos. Another question for the topic number 10. Does the expected outcome produced in the EU and associated countries require that demo sites and species production must also be in associated, I assume, countries?
With this topic, we want to help the countries that participate in Horizon, meaning the EU countries and the associated countries that also contribute to the budget of Horizon. And yes, since we're looking for products produced in these countries, I think it makes sense that the demo sites, it's logical that in principle will be in the same geographic area. But if they want to include additional case studies, that's not bad at all.
Okay. Thanks again, Nikos. Thanks to the participants that have been interactively asking questions. For the moment, I don't see any other question, but maybe we have time for another one. Yes. It's on topic number 10. Again, Nikos, so you're not freed for the moment. Stay with us. Are land-based and semi-open coastal tanks both acceptable, or must all demo sites avoid open sea entirely?
Every type of aquaculture is included, land-based, sea-based, semi-open, closed systems, freshwater, brackish, marine. So, no. there is no requirement that all demo sites avoid OpenSea. Not at all, I would say. It's an open topic, come with good ideas.
Okay, now we can close this session. Thanks again, Nikos, and we can go to the next group of topics on transforming food systems for health, sustainability, and inclusion. And I can now pass the floor to our colleague Giuseppina Luvara, because she will be presenting to us 3 topics: Farm to Fork number 12, nutrition and mental health, number 13, raising citizen awareness on alternative proteins derived from biotechnology, and Farm to Fork number 14, nutrients produced by microorganisms utilizing primary CO2 from the air with the support of biotechnology. So, Giuseppina, the floor is yours. You have 9 minutes.
Thank you, Linda, and good morning, good afternoon to all. So I will start with the topic on nutrition and mental health. This is a research innovation action with a total budget of 10 million. We expect 2 proposals of 5 million per each. Just to give you the policy context of this topic, so we have 2 main policy initiatives. One is the Research Innovation Framework Food 2030, where we have a dedicated pathway on a nutrition and healthy diet. And the other one is also related to some Commission initiative. One is the communication on a comprehensive approach on mental health, which was published in 2023. And another one is the Commission initiative on Healthy Together, the EU non-communicable diseases that was announced in 2022. Now, this project has mainly as in the scope really to try to improve a healthy diet and to look at the effect of an unhealthy diet on mental health by covering all the populations. So there are also the 3 groups of the population that are perfectly described in the topic, so the children, the adults, the older population. And this has also to be put in a context which is the socio-economic context. So this is really important that it needs to be reflected. The topic try also to deliver some science-based communication to the policymaker and various professionals by trying to improve the interlink between healthy diet and nutrition and mental health. And try also to understand all the mechanisms that really link the nutrition to mental health disorder. There is also another aspect that this topic will cover, which is also the study on the mechanism that really look at the function and the role of the gut microbiome and is interplay with the host metabolism. I want also to stress that this is a topic that look at a multi-actor approach, which means that all the actors of the value chain has to work together: industry, nutritionists, healthcare professionals, scientists, patient and consumer associations. And it's also really important that it's also kept in mind that there are a lot of other projects that are under the Era for Health Partnership and also the NutriBrain calls. So it's really important that the complementarity are ensured when this proposal will be submitted for this topic. I go to the second topic, which is raising citizen awareness on alternative protein derived from biotechnologies. This is a topic that also is under the policy umbrella of a Research Innovation Food 2030 pathway on alternative protein for dietary shift. And also, let's say, reply to one of the main challenges raised in the recent Commission adopted communication on biotechnologies, which emphasize as one of the challenges the need of ensuring this consumer acceptance of food produced through biotechnologies. This is a CSA, so has a budget of 2 million. And we expect as an outcome that really all the scientific knowledge is improved at the national, regional, and local level, targeting in particular only biotechnology for food and food ingredients. We expect also that the social and economic aspect as well as the environmental impact is taken also into consideration. And indeed, the ultimate goal is to increase the citizen awareness on the use of biotechnology for food and alternative protein produced through biotechnologies. Also in this case, we expect that all the we fight against the misinformation, so we learn from COVID as well. So the result of this project really has to produce technical dissemination materials that are really scientifically sound. So, and also material that can be used also for educational curricula in school or educational institute. It's also something to remind that there is a project, a big trust, that will end in 2026, which will promote the transparency in the use of biotechnology within the bio-based and agri-food sector. So it's important that the proposal also look at the ongoing result of this big trust project. And also something that is very important is to connect with the European research infrastructure, EU-BISBA, which really work in the area of biotechnology. There is also one element that I would like to underline, which is that the proposal should also ensure the collaboration with the international partner. This is really encouraged. There is an example of United States, but it's really with any international partners. The third proposal is on nutrients produced by microorganisms utilizing primarily CO2 from the air with the support of biotechnologies. Again, the policy, this is is an innovation action, total budget at 12 million, and we expect two proposals of 6 million per each. And the policy context is, again, the research innovation framework on food 2030, and in particular the pathway related to the microbiome world. This is also a topic has been written during the adoption of the Commission communication on biotechnologies, and is also a response to one of the challenges, which is the need of scaling up the production of protein by using applications such as precision fermentation through genetically engineered microorganisms. The goal of this proposal is really to look at the cost and resource efficiency of the bioreactor, which are really the main, let's say, the plant where really all these conversion occur. Looking also at the environmental and climate impact, because by absorbing CO2, you have also an impact to the environment, a positive impact to the environment. And indeed is also to look on innovative technology that really identify the use of a microorganism which have been genetically engineered, which transform CO2 into nutrients for food purposes. Among other things, we expect also that the company will create business models that really can be used and for industry, but also that will consider also the topic, say, including CO2. So we also consider other gases than CO2. Just to finish, there is also, we expect also to establish, this topic will establish a link with the regional innovation valleys for the bioeconomy and food system to encourage the deployment of this technology related to biotechnologies. And also in this case, we expect that there is indeed the proposal that we encourage in this proposal, the collaboration with the research infrastructure and technological infrastructures that really are in charge of biotechnologies and in particular on these specific applications. Thank you very much. The floor is to you, Linda. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Giuseppina. And this gives us the opportunity to open again a session on question and answers regarding these three topics that were presented by you. I already see some questions on the screen from Slido. Thank you to all the participants for this interactive contribution. So for the topic number 12, Giuseppina, would the small intervention trial to assess a causal relationship between gut microbiome and mental health be considered in scope for the call?
I would say so, because indeed today we know that there are few data, so this is welcome. Indeed, we need also to watch out that all the trials needs to be also, let's say, scientifically validated. So this is something that, or peer-reviewed. So I expect that indeed we are talking about data that somehow are not really rough data. We need a scientific validation behind.
Very well. Thank you, Giuseppina. So we have another question for topic number 12. And it says, the work program says, develop specific communication materials for prevention campaign. Could applications for society be created, or is it too far from research and innovation action?
Well, of course, when we develop an app, we always look at innovation action, but it's also true that today, in the world where we live, the communication materials are not only leaflet. So we have several apps, in particular, if this has to be used for school, I think that we can absolutely accept also any app that really go in this direction.
Very well, Giuseppina, thanks again. So I see that this topic on nutrition and mental health has raised a lot of interest, and we have another question. Are nutrition disorders in scope of the call?
Well, if the nutrition disorder are considered as an unhealthy diet, yes, because indeed the proposal look at the effect of unhealthy diet on mental health.
Thank you, Giuseppina. And now we have some questions for the following topic, for the topic on raising citizen awareness on alternative proteins derived from biotechnology. The first question is there also a European Commission grant for the international partners?
I'm looking at the colleague as well, but I think that international partners, they don't take money from EC grants.
From CSA?
Yes, from CSA, sorry.
Thank you, Giuseppina. So that is the general rule, but of course... Exactly. So colleagues are supporting this reply, that if it's not included in the topic, specified, that the international cooperation is allowed, then the answer is no. They don't get funding. This is the general rule on CSA, and maybe it was also mentioned this morning during the dedicated session on international cooperation. So I think that we can move to the other question, and the last one is for the topic number 13 again on this CSA, Giuseppina. It's, are protein coming from insects also included?
Very good question. So insect protein are alternative proteins. So indeed they would put there, but this is really a topic that look on biotechnology for food. So it's really if they use biotechnologies to produce specific proteins, but this is really targeting biotechnology use for food.
Thank you, Giuseppina. And now I see, since we have some few more minutes, I see that we can go back to the topic on mental health, because we have another additional question, and it's would work to explore relationships between hunger, mental health, and domestic violence at household level be considered in scope?
I would say no. I would say no. Indeed, this is a little bit, it's related really to food, to nutrition and mental health disorder. So this is the relationship that really the main goal of this topic. And when I say food, is food, beverage, macronutrients, micronutrients, and the mental health disorder. And I want also to take this opportunity to say that indeed we know that nutrition and mental health disorder, there is a lot related to mental health disorder like anorexia or bulimia, but indeed the recent studies has also highlight that there is an interconnection between specific food categories or macronutrients or micronutrients and mental health disorder like Alzheimer, like Parkinson. So I hope really to receive a proposal that goes in this direction, really to emphasize the new mechanism that really have been found in the most recent scientific evidence. Thank you.
So, thanks again, Giuseppina. There is another question. We have some more time, and the question is for the topic number 14. So, Nikos, for you, are microalgae, 14 is Giuseppina, but whenever I read macroalgae, I think about you, and it's good that you are together, sitting next to each other. Are microalgae produced for feed in the scope of the topic?
I'm sorry, but it's not. It's the topic is only for food and food ingredients.
So, thanks again. Thanks, Nikos. Thanks, Giuseppina. This brings us to the next part of this session. The next part of this session will be always under the heading Transforming Food Systems for Health, Sustainability and Inclusion. And I'm going to introduce you our colleague Jorge David Molina Villanueva that will present you the topic Horizon Cluster 6, 2025-02, Farm to Fork, number 3, two-stage. The topic is making food systems more resilient to food safety risk through the deployment of technological solutions. So thank you, Jorge. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Linda. And for me, it's a pleasure to present this topic. Making food systems more resilient to food safety risks through the deployment of technological solutions is a topic addressing technologies in the area of food safety and food fraud. This is an innovation action of 12 million, and 2 projects will be funded. About TRL, the technology readiness level, projects have to reach TRL 8 at the end of the project. This is important. I would like to say that successful proposals will be in line with the European policies on this field for fair and healthy and environmentally friendly food systems. This topic is also in line with the overall challenges highlighted in the updated Food 2030 Research and Innovation Framework and the pathways for action, in particular on the pathway on food safety. This topic is addressing food safety and or food fraud. This report, as probably some of you know, was published in December 23. Well, we would like that the strong knowledge and the strong knowledge base, that we have generated, that we have from European food safety projects in the past, is translated into marketable results, addressing the innovation paradox. The innovation paradox means, well, the fact that knowledge sometimes doesn't always translate to marketable products and services at the end. This topic wants that food systems become more resilient to food safety risks through the use of and exploitation of available knowledge and technologies. With this topic, we would like to increase the food chain and food systems competitiveness, creating close to the market impactful applications for different actors of the food chain, including food industries. In the areas of food safety and or food fraud, we know that a lot of efforts have been invested in the past in European framework programs in projects generating knowledge and potential applications. So proposals should contribute to further develop this existing knowledge and technological results in the areas of food safety and or food fraud to reach higher TRL technology readiness levels that are these solutions aligned with the user's needs. I would like to stress again that activities are expected to achieve TRL 8 by the end of the project, so that means systems completed and qualified. You can find the definition of the different TRL levels, especially TRL 8 that is mandatory in this topic in the Horizon Europe work program. For that, proposals should clearly define the TRL starting point for each involved technology and the plan to reach more advanced TRLs, so the TRL 8. The topic is also speaking about collaboration and synergies. So proposals should look for complementarities and leverage on results of past and ongoing research and innovation projects in this field. Of course, also with projects on the same topic in the areas of food safety and or food fraud. So proposals should include a dedicated tasks and appropriate resources and a plan on how they should collaborate with other ongoing projects under this theme. If the projects are already finished, applicants have to define the best way to engage with these relevant stakeholders that manage past and finished EU projects on food safety, and to see what is the best way to create cooperation agreements, for example, in terms of technology transfer or intellectual property. Just to comment that this is also a topic that follows the multi-actor approach, and the collaboration with EFSA is recommended and is expected. It will be a topic for 2 stages. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. And now let me introduce you the next speaker, who is Giulia Bizzo, and she will present us the next topic, that is topic number 4, 2-stage as well. Research and innovation for food waste prevention and reduction at household level through measurement, monitoring, and new technologies. So, Giulia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. The objective of this topic is really to tackle the huge environmental, economic, and social issue of food waste, in particular household food waste, which accounts for more than half of the food wasted in the European Union. This topic, which is a research and innovation action, will follow a 2-stage application process. It will be funded with the lump sum model, and it has an allocation of 8 million euros budget for funding 2 projects. The successful proposals will help achieve the targets set forth by the revised Waste Framework Directive and will be aligned with the ambition of the Food 2030 pathway for food waste and resource-efficient food systems. So looking a bit into the scope, so what are these projects expected to actually do? The proposal should focus on developing and validating new tools and methods for measuring household food waste, or further test existing tools and methods. This should also distinguish between edible and inedible fractions of food waste, as well as include food that is discarded through wastewaters. The proposal should explore how technologies such as, for example, artificial intelligence could simplify the data collection and reporting, and the tools and methods should provide interoperable metadata standards, and these metadata standards should allow data to be federated through the EOSC, which is the European Open Science Cloud Infrastructure. Now, it is really important that proposals highlight the potential for extensive uptake of their proposed solutions. This successful proposal should apply these methods across diverse products and target groups, and this will help measure food waste across different demographics and different countries, meaning member states and also associated countries, potentially. Understanding, of course, the drivers of household food waste is crucial, and for this reason, the proposal should also identify consumer behaviors that influence food waste in order to develop a reduction strategy. We know that considerable research has already been carried out in this direction, and for this reason, the projects should build on the results from existing initiatives such as the work of the European Consumer Food Waste Forum and other EU-funded projects in this area. In addition, the proposals can also explore eco-friendly and efficient solutions to prevent food degradation in households, but this activity is not mandatory. To ensure the success of this proposed solution, a multi-actor approach involving a wide range of food systems actors is vital and is also a mandatory component of this topic. And to conclude, this proposal should also engage social sciences and humanities disciplines as much as possible to reap their benefits. This is all for this topic.
Thank you very much, Julia. So now we have time to open another question and answer session. And just let me remind you that if you feel that during the previous question and answer session, your question was not addressed, please send it, redirect it to the Research Inquiry Service, and we will reply to you in writing. So now we are ready to take the questions for these two last topics that were presented by my colleagues Jorge and Julia. And the first one is on the food safety topic. Is there a potential conflict between artificial intelligence-based innovative solutions and the emphasis on clean technologies in the topic? Jorge, for you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Well, the topic is not putting an emphasis on clean technologies. Clean technologies are mentioned, but the topics, it's saying that in scenarios of equal conditions, those technologies addressing food safety or food fraud more favorable to the reduction of greenhouse gases emissions will be favored.
Okay, thank you, Jorge. So another question for your topic, Farm to Fork 03 two-stage. Do genomic strategies and biotechnologies apply for genetic improvement of food crops, biocontrol agents, fit the topic scope?
Let's do not forget that this topic is addressing food safety or food fraud, and advanced TRL, TRL 8. I would say yes, the reply to this question, but always if the activities of the proposals are focused to food safety and or food fraud.
Thank you. Another question on this topic, number 3, two-stage. How do you expect the collaboration with Metro Food R&I to be? What should be addressed?
Metro Food R&I, it's part of the research infrastructures, in this case dealing with metrology and food safety and other areas. So depending on how you will define your proposals and activities and which technologies you will use, you will see what's the best way to collaborate with these research infrastructures.
Thank you. Another question, always on this topic on food safety. Do innovative risk assessment tools like softwares, models fit the expected outcomes of the call, even though not primarily meant for market?
Please remember that this topic is clearly focused to knowledge transfer and technology development reaching the TRL 8. So this is something to evaluate by the proposals. Can these tools, softwares, and model deal with that or connect with that somehow in the proposal? If not, I would say no, because the activity, the main purpose is to reach technological results at the end of the project, reaching TRL 8.
Thank you, Jorge. Another question on your topic. Proposals with collaboration with national food authorities and not EFSA are considered eligible?
Collaboration with national food authorities is welcome, of course, and also the topic is saying that EFSA should be consulted.
Thank you, Jorge. So another question on this topic, number 3, two-stage, is technology and fermentation, let me see, I don't read it well there on the screen, will fit in scope. So technology and fermentation will fit in scope to help food safety?
The topic is addressing technologies. One thing is technology, another thing is fermentation. Well, of course, there is a link between both of them. The topic is addressing food safety and food fraud technologies. So if the proposal is dealing with these aspects of food safety and food fraud in a scenario of producing fermentation products, why not? But the main focus is food safety technologies and food fraud.
Very well, thank you, Jorge. Another question is about artificial intelligence. So could artificial intelligence be used to exploit the results of previous and ongoing projects to find new or optimized solutions?
I would say yes, but you have to demonstrate the excellence of this approach at proposal level.
Exactly, because in principle, we always build upon what has been already found and done, especially if, within Horizon Europe. And the last question for your topic, Jorge, always on food safety. Can EU IBISBA engage instead of Metro Food, R&I, that we were mentioning before?
Well, Metro Food is mentioned in the topic, so that's something important. Apart from that, it's up to the applicants to decide how to create the more excellent proposal engaging for the objectives of this topic.
Thanks, Jorge, again. Another question. Since your topic on food safety, number 3, two-stage, it's an innovation action, do you expect a high participation of companies food-related?
Well, the topic is expecting the participation of SMEs are mentioned on the topic, or maybe large industries or startups. I mean, it's up to the applicants to define this, but of course, yes, food industry must be part of this topic. food-related, as is mentioned here. Yeah, innovation action and high TRL. So we need the end users engaged on this topic.
Okay, thank you so much, Jorge. You had a lot of questions. I see on the screen, we try to collect all the questions, but I don't see any. Now I see a question for Giulia Bizzo. Yes, I was wondering how the other topic on food waste didn't trigger any questions. So now we have it on topic number 4 to stage. What is the maximum duration of a project, 36 or 48 months?
Thanks, Linda. Actually, Horizon Europe is not prescriptive in this sense. The proposal have to assess if 36, 48 months or a different duration is more suitable for the activities that they want to carry out, and also in view of the budget that is available, which is 4 million per grant.
Thank you, Giulia. And in fact, the question was more a general one, so not related to food waste. But now I have one for you, a real one for you. It's in the topic, 2 Horizon projects are mentioned. Chorizo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, and Wasteless. Can the new project be built in other related EU-funded projects other than these 2 that you mentioned?
Yes, indeed. These 2 projects were explicitly mentioned in the topic text because they were specifically targeting consumer behavioral change. But there's a lot of interesting links that can be created with other EU-funded projects, not only under Horizon Europe, but even under older projects in Horizon 2020, and even under other programs, if I may say. Proposals are very much invited to explore links with other relevant initiatives.
Thanks again, Giulia. Another question for you. What TRL are expected for the technologies to be tested?
So here, as I mentioned, this is research and innovation action, meaning that at the end of the project, we expect a technology readiness level of 5 or 6. There is no specific mention in the topic of preference between 5 or 6, so this is up to the proposal to see what is achievable.
Thanks, Giulia. One last question on your topic, which is related to the international cooperation. People are asking, is there interest in collaboration and research in the Global South or only in Europe and developed countries?
I have to say that this topic does not include specifically international cooperation, although of course, countries like associated countries are welcome to join, but I believe that if it's not mentioned explicitly, it's not in scope by itself.
This is another question that is related to the session that has been carried out this morning on INCO under the session Key to Success. We mentioned before that if it's the case of a CSA, the INCO part should be specifically mentioned in the topic. But in the case of a research and innovation action, it's in principle open. So to be seen how and when, and then you can refer to the session on Key to Success. But thank you so much, Giulia. Thank you so much, Jorge. And thanks again to all the participants that have submitted questions for this session. We had even more time available, but since for the moment we don't see any more questions, we think that it's better if we move onward. And the next part of this presentation will be for targeted international cooperation. and it's my pleasure to introduce the next speaker. We have with us Luis Vivas Alegre. He works in DG Agri in the Unit F2 Research and Innovation, and he will present you two topics. So the topic Farm to Fork number 5, two-stage, developing agroecology living labs and lighthouses for climate action under the Food and Nutrition Security and Sustainable Agriculture Partnership. And another topic that is always under this destination, number 16, developing a joint African Union and EU agricultural knowledge and innovation system, supporting again the partnership on food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture. So, Luis, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rosalinda, for your kind introduction. And first of all, good afternoon, and perhaps good evening already to some of you following online. So for this very first topic on developing agroecology living labs and lighthouses for climate action under the Food and Nutrition Security and Sustainable Agriculture Partnership, I would like to signal first that this is a research and innovation action. It is evaluated as two-stage, and it foresees a total budget of 12 million euros seeking to fund 2 projects. I would like also to indicate that even if it's not captured in this summary slide, the lump sum rules apply also to this topic. So what is the context? First, the potential of agroecological farming systems to enhance the sustainability performance of agriculture is well recognized. And here, living labs and lighthouses are also key to co-create and demonstrate innovations in the sector. At the same time, the Research and Innovation Partnership on Food and Nutrition Security and Sustainable Agriculture between the African Union and the European Union can really contribute to enable research and innovation activities in the area of agroecology, something that has been happening already through the Horizon Euro Work Programme and in the past, in Horizon 2020. What are the expected outcomes sought by the topic, again in short? Well, approaches to improve productivity and sustainability are adopted by relevant actors, that the coordination and experience sharing among actors in Africa is strengthened, and thirdly, that the African agroecological farming practices enhance their climatic, environmental, and also socioeconomic performance. If we would need to summarize what should the proposal address, here, living labs and lighthouses addressing agroecological approaches should be set up. At the same time, implement participatory and transdisciplinary research, also considering socioeconomic aspects. And that the interactions between existing and new living labs and lighthouses is strengthened also through the proposals. Finally, some details to take into account when preparing the proposals. This is a multi-actor topic, with the option of providing financial support to third parties. Also noting that the Joint Research Center may participate in the project, in particular connecting with the Knowledge Center on Food and Nutrition Security, and also noting that 2 of the legal entities from the African Union must be established in the same region. If we move to the next topic. Thank you. So this is another interesting topic in the context of targeted international cooperation related to developing a joint African Union, European Union Agriculture Knowledge and Innovation System, AKIS, as acronym, and very likely most of you are aware of it, supporting the food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture partnerships. This is a research and innovation action, and it is evaluated as single stage in this case, with a total budget of 6 million euros, seeking to finance 1 project, and again applying lump sum rules. The context for this topic call is that agriculture knowledge and innovation systems can truly be strengthened through the long-term sustainability, of agriculture systems, and at the same time foster co-creation and knowledge and innovation flows. At the same time, the Research and Innovation Partnership, again on food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture between the African Union and the European Union, and its activities can really provide a context for developing a joint African Union, European Union AKIS. What are the expected outcomes sought by the topic? Well, First, improve knowledge flows and the development of an effective African Union-European Union acquis. Furthermore, improve experience sharing between acquis actors in the African Union and the European Union. And also foster that all research and innovation actors, naturally and centrally farmers and advisors, are better informed and integrated in an acquis context. What should the proposals address? Well, first, the identification, mapping, and a study of main acquis actors from local to regional context. Also enhancing cooperation and knowledge flows between all relevant actors. Develop models and provide operational recommendations for a joint African Union-European Union acquis. And last but not least, actually pilot an acquis bicontinental networking knowledge sharing platform between the African Union and the European Union. Some details to take into account when preparing proposals in this case. This is again a multi-actor project. It is important to acknowledge the relevance for the context of the International Research Consortium on FNSSA that has been recently relaunched, let's say. Also that international organizations can participate in the consortium, and that again the Joint Research Center may participate, in particular providing synergies with the Pan-African Network for Economic Analysis and Policies. And this is all from my side. Thank you, Rosalinda.
Thanks a lot, Luis. Thanks for your presentation of these two topics. And now I can introduce you the next speaker, and he's Hans-Jörg Lutzeyer for the topic on Farm to Fork. It's topic number 17, and it is on nutrition in emergency situations. Something went wrong with the microphone. So the topic is nutrition in emergency situations, ready-to-use supplementary food, and ready-to-use therapeutic food. So Hans-Jörg, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, and good afternoon to everyone. Actually, this is a specific topic, also linked to the high-level policy dialogue on research and innovation, and its first priority on food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture, the FNSSA. But it's also linked to the Food 2030 strategy, so looking for co-benefits on nutrition, climate, and innovation. And actually, this topic is addressing, it looks specific, but it's addressing an urgent need. So 820 million people globally do not get enough calories, actually, while we know malnutrition also includes overnutrition, and we have addressed it in previous topics. This time it's really about, let's say, people who do not get enough food in emergency situations. And around 120 million consumers worldwide are actually depending on some kind of food supplement, like ready-to-use supplementary food or even ready-to-use therapeutic food in severe situations. And while these ready-to-use supplementary food and therapeutic food is largely imported to Africa, there are also opportunities actually to produce it in Africa, to source ingredients from African farmers and actually to establish processing units in Africa. And this is what the topic is addressing, actually, to boost African production of ready-to-use supplementary food and ready-to-use therapeutic food, but in the view actually of science-based recipes, science-based recipes, and actually this topic also includes cascading funding. That means innovations which are co-created, which are established during the ongoing project could receive additional funding for example, startups. For this topic, actually, we have also foreseen, if there are more proposals, actually, to have a regional emphasis in Africa, so at least 3 independent legal entities established in Africa and 2 of the same geographical region should participate. It's a multi-actor approach. It is linked actually to the FNSSA project portfolio. That means also the International Research Consortium should be a reference, and everything which is coordinated, for example, in the TIA First project. The JRC is mentioned with its Knowledge Center on Global Food and Nutrition Security as a reference point. And it's a research and innovation action with a budget of 8 million, 2 grants and lump sum funding. Thank you. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Hans-Jörg. Thanks for your presentation. Thanks to Luis for the previous presentation for these topics. And now we have time for opening the question and answer session. We already collected some interesting inputs from you. Thanks to all the participants. And yeah, the question that I'm going to read you is on Farm to Fork, topic number 5, two-stage. Is the first stage not a blind evaluation, not anonymous? So let's remind a bit the rules of the two-stage calls. Who wants to take it?
Yes, it applies indeed for all the two states, I believe, where so the sentence there is written in a negative form, but it should be in a positive form in the sense that it is a blind evaluation in the first stage. Indeed, it's blind evaluation, I can confirm. The objective, yeah, I mean the objective. Yeah, indeed, well, the objective of blind evaluations are indeed not to identify those that are put in the proposal forward. So the anonymity aspect is what should be sought during the evaluation. Yeah, and this is how the first stage of the blind evaluation runs, yes.
Thanks a lot, Luis. But again, there was a dedicated session this morning on Key to Success. So if you are not satisfied with this short input, please go back to that recording. But yes, it was quite clear, and it applies to all the two-stage topics that we have been presenting in this session. So let's move to the next question on your topic, Luis. Can one of the African legal entities in the consortium be the coordinator, like the lead applicant?
Yes, thank you for the question. Indeed, yes, this is a possibility. One African legal entity can be the coordinator of the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe Hans-Jörg wants to complement, please. Okay, so we are already ahead. There is a next question that is asking, for the topic Farm to Fork number 17, is asking who provides the financial support to third parties? European entities to African partners, an African entity to African beneficiaries? Can you reply, please?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, third-party funding means it could be up to, or it's 20% of the EC contribution, up to, I think, 60,000 per beneficiary of third-party funding. And so it's actually from the project budget, this third-party funding. And so it's the EC contribution to the project, which is also used for third-party funding. This project is a research innovation action. It's not a co-fund ERANET, for example, where partners would also pay to the overall budget, actually.
Thank you, Hans-Jörg. So let's move to the next question. It's on the topic number 16. It's, yes, I read 16, but apparently it's for topic number 17. Thank you. Thanks, colleagues. So to what extent can alternative plant-based protein sources be used, even if this does not comply with cited Codex Alimentarius? Hans-Jörg, for you.
Yeah, the idea would be actually to broaden the protein sourcing actually for ready-to-use food supplements. And I think groundnut paste, for example, is used. Actually, I don't have the Codex Alimentarius exact rules for protein sources in mind. Certainly, it should comply because then it can get certification. But yeah, I think it can be checked. I mean, these Codex Alimentarius rules are available, but broadening protein sourcing would be the idea also behind the topic. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Hans-Jörg. Thanks also for all these questions from the participants on this heading, the two topics that had the EU, African Union attention in the scope. But since we have more time now, we can also go back to questions on previous topics and take the most of our session. So take advantage of this possibility to see how to reply to all your questions, if possible. And now I see on the screen already, thanks to the colleagues that are going back and screening all the questions, I see that there is one in particular for the topic number 13. And it is asking for Giuseppina to reply. If the EU IBISBA refuses to participate due to other consortium commitment, what alternative do you propose to other consortia? Do you have a reply for this, Giuseppina?
Thank you for the question. What the text said is that the proposal should take advantage of and connect to the European research infrastructure such as UIBISBA. So it's not only UIBISBA, it's any other research infrastructure. We just call UIBISBA in the proposal because it's the only European research infrastructure which is dealing with the biotechnologies. But if there is any national infrastructure dealing also that with the biotechnologies for food, then it's also welcome also this kind of a connection of the consortia with the, such research infrastructure.
Thank you so much, Giuseppina, for this reply. And I see that also the other two following questions are for you, for your topics, in particular for Farm to Fork 12 on nutrition and mental health. The question is, mental health and the example, sorry, I was reading the next one. Would laboratory activities be on scope to understand the relationship between mental health and nutrition?
I would say so, because the project is a research innovation actions. So as we are talking about laboratory activities, this is part of the research activities, so yes.
Thank you, that was an easy one. So now we go ahead, and I have another one for nutrition and mental health. So mental health and the example of Alzheimer and nutrition. Alzheimer is not classified as a mental health issue. Would neurological illness be part of this topic? What do you think, Giuseppina?
Well, this was largely also discussed, and I would say so. Yes, because indeed the topic refers to mental health disease. So indeed it's neurological illness or is also a mental health disease, so yes.
Thank you so much, Giuseppina. Before we move forward, I would like to take advantage of the presence of an expert here in the room that would like to clarify the question that was done on the blind evaluation and two-stage. So, since it was a general question, Olivier can take it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Linda. There was a question on Farm to Fork 05, which is a two-stage topic. This morning, during the Key to Success session, we indeed explained the blind evaluation that applies by default to the first stage of the two-stage topics, but there are actually two topics which are exceptionally where it does not apply. So basically the first stage evaluation is not blind, and Farm to Fork 05 is one of the two exceptions. There is another topic in another destination. So it's just to say that in that case it was believed it was not it was not a good idea to have that as blind evaluation. So there is no blind evaluation for that specific topic, Farm to Fork. But for the other ones, yes, it applies. So really the best is to check the topic conditions in the box of topic conditions at the end. Then there is a very clear mention to know exactly which conditions apply and whether the topic will be evaluated as blind evaluation in the first stage. So that's really my recommendation. Read carefully the work program, the topic-specific conditions, and then you will see which conditions specifically apply to your topic. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Olivier. I'm really grateful that we had the time to clarify this so that our audience can feel that we also clarified that question, which applies to a specific case, apparently. So we were lucky enough to have this specific case within our topics. And this brings me to the next question. It's on Farm to Fork topic number 17. Again, for the colleagues on my right, will there be scope to consider school nutrition supplementation products be considered under this call?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Somehow it relates to ready-to-use food supplements, but not exactly. So it could be an element, and I would even suggest actually that we clarify it internally before giving now a definite answer. Therefore, I would suggest please ask this question also in writing, and then we can come back to you.
Okay, thank you, Hans-Jörg. Let's move to the next question. It's on the topic number 5, two stages. Agroecology living labs. Is this solely for production, or will there be room to consider the urban dimension of agroecology systems, rural-urban links? Luis, please.
Thank you, Linda. In principle, there is a definition of living labs, a working definition of living labs provided in the topic. So I would start by looking into this and contextualizing indeed whether a rural-urban connection could be within the scope. It's up to the applicants to demonstrate the connection with agroecology living labs, which indeed in the context of the topic looks at sustainable agriculture. But there could be situations where a rural-urban link connecting with agroecology living labs in the context of sustainable agriculture could be part of the activities. Again, up to the applicants to demonstrate the connection there. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Very good explanation. And now I don't see any other questions on the screen, but there is one that we didn't take at the beginning, so it's on Farm to Fork 11. Recreational fishery data collection and management system is being developed by the European Commission. How to interface such system in the proposal? I guess it's for you, Niels.
Yes, thank you, Linda. Indeed, very good question, because indeed there is a system developed by the Commission, rec fishing, and the proposal should consider this rec fishing and the data being submitted to the system. Data submitted, aggregated data, will be published by ISTAT. So funded projects should focus on applications of artificial intelligence and for mining information and data deriving from rec fishing, but also from other sources, monitoring technology, social media, scientific surveys, for the purpose of supporting effective data collection and cross-verification. So they should consider this system rec fishing, but also other monitoring technologies and sources. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikos. One more question for you on the topic number 10. Do we aim to scale up technology?
Yes, the topic on diversification of aquaculture with focus on low trophic. It's an innovation action, so scaling up is in the scope of the topic. Thank you.
Very good, Nikos, thank you. And I think that with this, we covered almost all the questions. If you think that your question was not addressed, that we would not make it, that we'd miss it for some reasons, please redirect your question, write it again to the Research Inquiry Service, because we cannot keep the records of Slido. So send them to the Research Inquiry Service, and then we will reply to you in writing. And in case, you can also check the frequently asked question, or eventually contact your national contact point for unaddressed questions or doubts that you may still have. So now I would like just to remind you that the 3 partnerships that are under Destination 2 will be covered, explained, presented in the dedicated session that will take place tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Any information that you would like to have on partnerships will be given there, and also the opportunity, of course, to ask questions and specific doubts that you may have. And with this, if my colleagues confirm me that we don't have any more questions, it's time to thank everyone here in the room, the topic drafters, all the colleagues from the Research Executive Agency that will take care of the implementation of this work program 2025, this already successful work program 2025. So thanks to everyone. Thank you. Thanks to all the people that are connected now in Europe, abroad. Thanks for all the active engagement, for all the questions that you sent to us, because it already gives us an indication of the interest that these topics had in the audience. And we really hope that the session was useful, but for any remaining doubts, please follow the steps that we presented to you, and continue please following these info days tomorrow morning and afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.